Hi VC, how's it going everybody? Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I spent last week in Orlando, Florida, and then a couple days as well in Clearwater, Florida, visiting with family, and found some time to squeeze in a little bit of record shopping. Not as much as I'd hoped for, but it's always hard, when you're traveling and trying to spend time with the family, and then balance it with a little time indulging in the habits of thrift shops and record stores and whatnot. But while I was gone, I noticed just following on my phone that I picked up a few more subscribers for my channel. I'm over 100 subscribers now, which I know it's not a lot in comparison to a lot of people, but it just seems kind of weird to me, like 100 people subscribing to these videos. And some names I recognize: Gregory Short, popcrackle.com. I've been watching his channel for a while now. Really enjoy your videos, Greg. The Vinyl Grotto, Doug Fields. I've been watching his videos. Really enjoyed your video with or videos with Psycho's platters showing your picture discs. That was really cool. Nice joint collaborative video. Really cool concept. And Kraken Vinyl from the UK. Welcome. I assume you're from the UK from the accent. That's an assumption. I'm not sure. Welcome everybody. I noticed just kind of thinking about videos and watching other people's videos, what I really enjoy in other people's videos, the ones I subscribe to, are when I see a variety of music, different genres and different eras. So I'm kind of thinking about my videos. I'm going to change things around a lot. I know I show a lot of jazz on vinyl, and the reason for that is mainly budgetary. Most of my discretionary income, a lot of it goes to my daughter. I have a teenage daughter, and so fashion and having to have a new phone and all that. I don't have as much spending money as I used to, so I do a lot of my shopping now in thrift shops. Try to stay out of the record shops. It gets expensive. When I do shop at record shops, I tend to buy more of a broader selection of musics. Thrift shops, I buy what looks interesting, and a lot of times what's left is jazz. If there is rock, it's usually pretty beat up. Occasionally I find some more interesting stuff. But I'm going to try to change my videos around, show a little bit less jazz, a little more variety. Probably delve into some things in my collection that I haven't shown before, and get into my wife and I's Disney record collection. We've probably got probably a couple thousand Disney records, and start going through those, showing those off, just for something a little different. I don't think I've seen many Disney records on the VC, so should be kind of cool. But let me get into the meat of the video here. These are going to be records I picked up over the last week. Like I said, I was down in Orlando. We stayed just outside of Disney property, but we didn't have a Disney pass. We haven't had an annual pass for a few years now. We used to have annual passes for several years, but my daughter's been busy with dance and stuff on the weekends, so it just hasn't been worthwhile to invest the money. But we did make a trip over to Disney Springs. It used to be called Downtown Disney, and of course I had to hit the Art of Disney shop, which has a small selection of vinyl. Kind of disappointing. There used to be a Virgin Megastore in Downtown Disney, and it's kind of sad. I was really into CDs at the time. It was before vinyl really became a big thing again, and they did have vinyl, but I hardly ever looked through the vinyl selection there. I just hit the CDs and nerd out in the CD racks and spent a lot of money on CDs there, but I was so sad when that place closed. It was a great store, and kind of the highlight of my trips to Orlando. We'd stay overnight. I'd always want to hit Downtown Disney and drop some dough in the Virgin Megastore. But like I said, the Art of Disney in Disney Springs, their little shopping area, they do have some vinyl, but it's kind of disappointing. They don't really have the full range of their product line, which I don't really understand. But did pick up a few things from there's the typical Disney bag. Pick up a few things from their selection there. Disney's been putting out a lot of picture discs, especially lately. Hot Topic, in the store in the mall, used to carry all their picture discs. I think they no longer carry vinyl, unfortunately, but you see them around in different stores. I know our Second and Charles, which is really Books A Million, they carry the Disney picture discs in their selection, so they're around. But they've come out with some picture discs now for different rides, different attractions, so I had to pick up the Pirates of the Caribbean picture disc. It's alright. The artwork kind of phoned in, not real impressive, but you know, we're kind of completist on the Disney tip. Or my wife sort of lost interest, I think. She's more into I don't know, more excited about my daughter's social life than collecting Disney records lately, but I'm keeping it going. And then the other one, the Haunted Mansion. I like the artwork on this one, the front pretty well. Did a pretty good job with that. The back, kind of bland, but they're kind of nice. They've got the, I guess the soundtrack to the ride on one side, and then on the other side, kind of some selected little musical snippets. Kind of pricey, 22 bucks, but that's new vinyl these days. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed. There's a really cool 2-album set, the soundtrack to Ratatouille, which actually Disney didn't do, but they're selling on their website on the Disney Emporium, Music Emporium, done by Mondo Tees, I think. I guess they're like a t-shirt shop, but they do vinyl, something like that. But it's like a 2-record set with like a splatter vinyl and really beautiful artwork. It's not like a still from the movie. It's like new artwork done for the cover. It looks really nice. Didn't have that. There's the Mickey Mouse Club picture discs. They didn't have that. Yeah, just a few other things I kind of wish they had, they didn't have. I don't get it why Disney doesn't put these things out for sale in Disney Springs, where every tourist is going to shop. You know, they could just sell a ton of these things. Vinyl is hot, they don't seem to get it. But yeah, anyway, that was kind of the necessary stop there. Anytime we're in Orlando and we stay overnight, I try to hit it and see what kind of Disney vinyl they have. But yeah, we stayed 3 days in Orlando, and I wanted to hit some record shops there. They've got a few good ones. But the problem is, the record shops, Kissimmee, where Disney is, it's on the south side of Orlando. The record shops are mainly on the north side of downtown Orlando. And with traffic, it's about 45 minutes to an hour drive kind of up to where the record shops were. And it just didn't work out with, you know, doing stuff with my wife and daughter. So I did, one day they went to the mall at Millennium, which is kind of like the high-end hoity-toity mall, and I had no interest in that. So I took the car and checked out some local thrift shops. I went to a Goodwill, a lot of CDs, but they were just totally picked over, nothing very interesting. And, you know, of course, guys sitting on the floor going through the CDs, looking stuff up on their phone. So I knew that was pretty picked over, and I thought, well, this is going to be a shot trip, and I found there was a bookshelf that had like maybe like 8 records, and I thought, well, this is going to be pointless flipping through the records, but I found one that pretty cool. For me, I collect this guy. This is a guitarist named Al Caiola, and this is on RCA Records, called High Strung, and I think there is a living stereo version of this. This is mono. But yeah, kind of jazzy instrumental guitar stuff. Kind of the usual suspects, his guitar buddies, George Barnes, Al Casamente, Don Arnone, John Bucky Pizzarelli, and Billy Bauer. A couple of guys playing vibes on this. Really nice stuff. And I found this kind of interesting. I just noticed on the back. The hammock here, it says on the back, hammock courtesy, I don't know if you can see this, of Abercrombie and Fitch. So I don't know, I guess at one point they were a I don't know, more than just a clothing store. don't really know what the history of Abercrombie and Fitch, but I thought that was kind of neat. I hit another thrift shop. I can't remember the name of it. Had some interesting stuff. They had a lot of electronics, and I noticed like the knobs on all the receivers and stuff were pulled off, and there was a note like, you know, the price, and that said like bag so and so, and I guess when you went to the counter they had the knob in a bag. So I guess to keep the kids from pulling the knobs off the equipment, I don't know. But really nothing I wanted there. They did have some records. They had a White Album, Beatles White Album with the serial number and all, but it was just beat to hell. Had a poster inside, but it was beat to hell. Yeah, just nothing, just trash. So kind of gave up on that, and I was driving to another thrift store that I'd found on my phone, and I was kind of in traffic and stopped at a red light, and I just looked over to the side, and I noticed a storefront with some posters in it, and I saw the Record Store Day poster. So I just pulled off the road into the parking lot, and there's a little tiny mom and pop record shop, and as I walk in, you know, I see, you know, it's a small record shop, got some bins of records and some CDs and stuff, and I hear the lady behind the counter, she's talking to someone, so I just kind of casually go over to the record bins and I start flipping through, and I hear something like, hey man, and I look up and look over, and it's the owner of Aerozame Records here in Gainesville, Florida, Dan. And I was just like, what the hell? And apparently he was down, he's dropping a friend off at the airport in Orlando, but he just happened to be there digging through, and kind of a weird record shop, kind of a record shop lost in time, you know, a survivor from the pre-vinyl resurgence days. They did have a lot of CDs, but the CDs seemed kind of, you know, priced from the old days, you know, $7 up for a used CD. Vinyl seemed like it kind of hadn't had a lot of turnover, probably a lot of stuff that's been there for a while. But I did flip through. I didn't have a whole lot of time. I was kind of in a rush to get back to pick my wife and daughter up from the mall, but I did flip through the jazz records, and hate to walk away from a record store without buying anything, so I saw one that I was interested in. It was kind of overpriced, I thought, but I went ahead and bought it. This is Shorty Rogers, jazz trumpeter and arranger, writer, the Big Shorty Rogers Express, Shorty Rogers and his Giants. This one again, like the Alpile on RCA Records, RCA Victor. Stamped on the back, special issue. I don't really know what that's about. I looked around the internet. It looks like maybe these are records they gave away when you bought a stereo setup or hi-fi setup, I guess. So they might have been free giveaways. But it's not really like a white label promo or anything. Yeah, like I said, a little overpriced, 20 bucks. Record's in pretty good shape, but you can get these cheaper online. But I hate to walk away from a record shop with nothing. You know, you've already wasted the gas to get there and all. And then right before I checked out, I looked through. They had a bunch of old Record Store Day records from years past, and found this one that I'd meant to pick up in Record Store Day before, but just never got around to or bought off eBay. From the British On You Sound label. Great kind of experimental reggae, post-punk, electronic, hip-hop, whatever kind of label, kind of everything thrown together. But they did put out a series of these 10-inch singles back in the day, back in the 80s, they called the On You Disco Plates. And now that they're putting out vinyl again, reissuing stuff and putting out kind of lost tracks and things like that. These are some tracks, I assume, with Banjo Ayabingi Noah, percussionist from African Head Charge. There's Adrian Sherwood, the producer, back in his young days. This is a photo from sometime back in the 80s. But I guess these are kind of some lost tracks here. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, if I had the money, I'd be buying all these reissues and lost tracks and stuff coming out from the On You Sound label. Always interesting music. Yeah, so that was a little shop called East West Music. I'd definitely like to go back sometime and dig through everything and see what they have. Interesting shop. that was kind of the extent of my vinyl shopping in Orlando, and then went down to Clearwater, over to Clearwater, west of Orlando, to visit with my mom and my brother and sister-in-law and their family. But did wanted to hit some record shops, but just didn't have time. But did hit some thrift shops and found some interesting records. Yeah, I went to one record shop, and it was actually Black Friday, so the thrift shop, or not record shop, but thrift shop, went to a thrift shop, and it was Black Friday, so they said everything in the store was half off. So picked up a little stack of records here, normally $1, so everything was 50 cents. First up, Michael Shreve, fantastic drummer here, with Klaus Schulze from Tangerine Dream, and Shreve's brother Kevin Shreve on guitar. And this is Blue Transfer Station Blue, a little label I hadn't heard of. You can't really see it, but the vinyl is kind of like audiophile vinyl. If you hold the light up to it, it's got that translucent brown look to it. Kind of some interesting electronic, almost new agey, ambient type music. Kind of along the same lines, the Essential Jean-Michel Jarre. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Never really picked up much of his vinyl, but this looked cool. A nice little compilation on the French label Dreyfus. So you can kind of see it pulls from several of his albums from 1976 to 86. So I thought that was pretty cool. What else? Some jazz, of course. Dave Brubeck Quartet, featuring Jerry Mulligan. Kind of late in the game for Brubeck and Mulligan, but that doesn't always mean it's bad. This one was a really interesting find. The violin player Jean-Luc Ponty with some Italian musicians I don't recognize, as well as some kind of avant-garde jazz guys like Steve Lacy on sax, Harry Beckett on trumpet, I think, Tony Oxley, and Paul Rutherford. Yeah, kind of a weird album. Just threw it on the turntable last night real quick. Reminds me of like the 70s King Crimson with David Cross and John Witton. Interesting stuff. This is a reissue on the PA USA label. Originally put out, I think, on an Italian label. There you go. Yeah, kind of weird. Something different, not what I expected to find in a thrift store in Clearwater, Florida. And then, other than that, picked up some Command records. Always fun listening to these. Provocative percussion. Bongos, flutes, guitars. You see these around all the time in thrift shops, but these were in a especially nice shape. And then the Time Series 2000 records, very similar to Command. Same deal, glossy cover, gatefold, a lot of the same musicians actually, but different label. Bongos and brass, and Impact Brass. Yeah, so 50 cents, I figured I'd pick them up, give them a listen. I've kind of split my record collection. I'm putting a lot of stuff out in the garage now because I just don't have room in here. So I put most of my classical records and, just the oddball stuff like this out in the garage. I wouldn't be heartbroken if they got water damaged, whereas most of this stuff, it would hurt me if I did. And then hit one more thrift shop in Clearwater, flipped through the records, didn't see much, and then finally came up with one that was pretty cool, a jazz record that I've never seen before. I've seen online. It's called Jazz Mission to Moscow. And the story behind this was Benny Goodman in 1962 took a band, kind of an all-star band, to the Soviet Union and toured around and came back. And once they were back, Al Cohn, the sax player, he didn't actually tour with them, but he gathered up some of the musicians that had been on tour and they put together this album of music here. Pretty good stuff on the Colpix label. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. So yeah, that's it. That's what I managed to come up with vinyl wise. Wish I had more time to look through record shops. There's definitely some excellent record shops down in the Clearwater, Tampa area. Yeah, maybe next trip. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.